The Canucks just sent a serious message with a huge shutout win versus the Toronto Maple Leafs to try and right the ship, with a new look to the top six being something to watch going forward. We're going to be breaking down all that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as they continue to hopefully win more games. With that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is Canucks shutout Leafs. So if you guys were watching, it was a glorious night to be a Canucks fan, as we not only got a win, finally breaking our 4-game losing streak, but also our first regulation win in 8 games, and it came at the expense of none other than the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was beautiful. They were the heavy favorites at home, and the Canucks were able to score a goal in each of the 3 periods, improving their away record to 12-5-4. And when looking at the scores, it started early with a tip-in by Brock Boeser that was rifled through traffic by Tyler Myers. And then Quinn Hughes took it himself and just went to town and just got the one going in the second period. And then Kiefer Sherwood with the quick release on the setup from Quinn Hughes in the third period to put the game on ice right at the start of the third period. It was beautiful to watch just how they just dismantled the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it wasn't as much of a dismantling as it would seem on paper, especially when you look at the scoring that there was, but it was a typical kind of Canucks game where they got ahead, they just dump pucks in, dump pucks deep, and just wait till the time kills off the clock. If that's what it takes to win games for the Canucks, I'm okay with it, just because when looking at the shots on net, that kind of says really the whole story there, where they had their foot on the gas for a bit in the first period and then took it a bit off in the last 2 periods. That's where you can really see that they kind of just were dumping the puck in, like I said, typical Canucks hockey. And after coming off of 30 shots on net versus the Hurricanes and not scoring a single goal, they scored 3 goals on 18 shots, which is somehow insane. But the big story was those 20 shots that were saved by Kevin Lankinen. We're going to get into that in a minute. But even looking at the game stats as well, overall, fairly clean game. We didn't win in the face-off circle. That's something that we're going to have to work on going forward. We want to keep winning those face-off draws. More block shots. That was awesome. We laid the body more than they did. We took more penalty minutes. We weren't able to get a chance on the power play, but our penalty kill was 100% as we shut them out on all 3 chances that they had. The hits, that's the big thing, where Canucks are continuously being physical and trying to win games that way, where, hey, let's be physical and shut down and just dump the pucks in, even if we have the lead. Because we've seen a lot of situations this season where, yes, as frustrating as it is to be a Canucks fan watching just dump and kill hockey, where, hey, let's just kill time, dump the puck in, we're playing with the lead, let's be comfortable. When looking at the Canucks this season, it's understandable that they're doing it just because of how many times we've seen just bad cough-ups in bad zones where it gets a team going and then we just blow them out a big lead and we end up losing the game either in overtime or right at the end of the third period. If this is what it takes to win games, I'm okay with it, like I said, because all that matters is getting the W. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And right now, the Canucks don't need to just get blowout wins or just get wins the hard way. They need to just get a win. That was the big thing coming into tonight. Just get the win, break this 4-game losing streak, finally get a regulation time win. I know 2 points are nice when you get them, but they are super stressful, and you want to be able to have a convincing win where you're able to put the game away early, and that's what it was tonight against Toronto. This was a game that I thought we were probably going to lose, in all honesty, because we were playing so terrible the last few games. I know we had a lot of shots on net last game, but none of them found the back of the net. Things weren't going right for the Canucks, but finally something gave. Something finally went right for the Canucks, and that was thanks to the 3 stars of tonight's game. Quinn Hughes, 1 goal, 1 assist. Tyler Myers, 2 assists. He finally got going. It was nice to see him have a really good game. And, of course, Kevin Lankinen with the 20 saves, posting the shutout, and his 20 saves versus Toronto records his 4th shutout of the season and ties for 2nd in the league in shutouts. With the goaltending that the Canucks have this season, it's hard to believe that we have the record that we have. Thatcher Demko, he was a Vezina nominee last season. He's getting his legs underneath him. He's had some injuries obviously the injury to start the season, got a little bit banged up a few days ago, and now Kevin Lankinen has been that reliable safety valve. We haven't seen much of Artur Shilov's. We know his struggles, but Kevin Lankinen has been amazing between the pipes. On games when he isn't left out to dry, because you can only do so much when you're facing 3 guys and no one's there helping you, or even 2 guys, it's hard enough to stop those. But Kevin Lankinen has been one of the best free agency signings we've had. I've said it before, Kiefer Sherwood and Kevin Lankinen probably the top 2 signings we made, and then Jake DeBrusk would probably be number 3. And Kevin Lankinen has continued to prove that time and time again, where even in games where we are down, Kevin Lankinen is still trying to keep us in it, or games where our offense is just not going. Kevin Lankinen is keeping us in it, saying, hey guys, get a goal going because I can hold it down here. As long as you guys are doing your job, I can do mine between the pipes as long as you're not leaving me out to dry. And that was the case tonight for the Canucks. They were able to say, hey, we got your back here. You can hold it down between the pipes. We'll get some goals scored for you. Yeah, we're going to play a lot of dump and kill along the way, but what's going to matter is we're going to get the W, and that's what happened tonight. But what did you guys think on the game overall? Were you guys frustrated that they just played dump and kill puck the whole time, or were you just happy that we got a win in general? And was it even sweeter that it came at the expense of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments, but that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is new look forwards. Now, going into tonight's game, we saw a new look to the top 6 where we had Niels Höglander, Connor Garland, and JT Miller on that first line. Second line, you had Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Brock Boeser. I know we had Jonathan Leckernacki down in the 4th pairing. Hopefully he moves up again on that one. But then again, you had Guillaume Brisebois getting the start over Erik Brannstrom. Noah Juulsen getting the start over Erik Brannstrom. Derek Forbort getting the start over Erik Brannstrom. You kind of see where I'm getting with that. Why in the hell is Erik Brannstrom continuously being scratched by Rick Tocchet? I don't understand it, especially when we don't have Filip Hronek here. Maybe you want your number 2 defenseman in the lineup. Just a thought, maybe. I don't know. He has been one of the top scoring defensemen we've had. He's been one of the top in all stats for defensemen as far as our team goes. So why wouldn't you put him in the lineup? I don't know. That's a whole other different tirade. But the main thing we're going to focus on here is that top 6 where you had Höglander, Miller, Garland, DeBrusk, Pettersson, and Boeser. When looking at the new look top 6 tonight in the dominant opening 20 minutes, Miller's line and Pettersson's line were on the ice at 5-on-5. Vancouver out-attempted the Leafs 11-1, outshot them 7-0, and outscored them 1-0. That's what you want out of your top 6. This is what we have been waiting for the Vancouver Canucks to do as far as this top 6 went. We were waiting for one of these games where we could see, hey, this is one of the games where we can rely on our top 6 to get the job done. That's what we were able to do. I know Kiefer Sherwood was able to get a goal going there, but the fact of the matter is our top 6 played their asses off tonight, and they played a really good game. It was great to see them have a nice bounce back game after a string of just really ugly games where it was either an overtime loss or just an ugly regulation loss, and we finally were able to get back in the win column. And some takeaways that were on Canucks Army that I definitely agree with. Jonathan Leckernacki on the 4th line. Hopefully he's not staying there. Erik Brannstrom, I went on a little bit of a tirade there. Elias Pettersson, solid night on the defensive end, and he added a point too. That's pretty good. Sasson was taken out of the lineup instead of Phil Giuseppe or Danton Heinen. That would have been interesting to see if he had kept going, but there was a lot of missed opportunities in last game with Carolina where he had a good chance to bury one, and he did not get it done. Vinny Darnay's out of the lineup. Forbort, Juulsen, and Soucy seem like they could use the game off. I agree with that there. I think Vinny's kind of really starting to get his groove a little bit with his Vancouver team. So would like to see a little bit more of him, especially when considering that Forbort, Juulsen, and Soucy have really been struggling. So put Erik Brannstrom and Vinny Darnay on a pairing, please, for the next game. I beg you, Rick Tocchet. Please try it out. See what happens when you have a puck-moving defenseman and a big shutdown guy. Just see what happens. Might be a well-balanced pairing. Just a thought. Let me know if you guys agree down in the comments if you'd like to see that. But the other thing too is MVP performance from Quinn Hughes. He was fantastic tonight. He finally had his comeback game after his injury. I know he played in the last game, but he didn't really do much. And this is something where, hey, now we have something to show for on the score sheet. Quinn Hughes is back and playing like an MVP. And this will be interesting to dive into for the statsies on Canucks Army. Like they said, a lot of things that we're going to be looking forward to as far as how they broke down this game and what we see from this Canucks and how we can see this going forward to see if we can continue this momentum. Bring this back to Rogers Arena, get some home wins, get this Canucks team back to where they were. And I think that top 6 is something where, hey, I think we got a little bit of a gem there where we can roll with this top 6 for a few games, fix up that defensive pairing, all those defensive pairings a little bit so it's not so Swiss cheese, and I think the Canucks are going to start piling up a few more W's. We're going to take some losses here and there. We're not fully back like we were last season yet. This is just one win. I know it's just hard to come by a win nowadays as a Canucks fan in this early stretch, in this early half of the season. Hopefully in the second half we get more W's piling up, just like we want to see with the pucks in the net for the Vancouver Canucks. We don't want to see any coming in there, but with Kevin Lankinen between the pipes and Thatcher Demko as well, I'm very confident that if this Canucks team can get rolling, even if we're facing an offensive onslaught or just barely any shots on net, I'm confident that our goalies can keep it down as long as our defensive front does not leave them out to dry and our offense puts up the points. The offense is there tonight. The goaltending was there. Now, if we can keep things the same with the offense, the goaltending is going to do its job. Now it's just focusing on those defensive pairings and making sure you have a reliable six set of guys that you want to have going into it. That's something I would love to see the Canucks do for next game. But what would you guys like to see the Canucks try and focus on for next game? Is it getting more offense? I know it was frustrating to watch them play dump and kill a lot of the game tonight. Or would you like to see something going on defense? Would you like to see Thatcher Demko play in the next game? Or do you want to see Kevin Lankinen roll with the hot hand? Let us know what you guys think down in the comments, and what do you guys think is going to be the Canucks record over the next 10 games when looking at their upcoming schedule. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments, but that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.